is taking a break for the summer, and we will be back with new episodes on Wednesday, October the 9th. In the meantime, you can watch past episodes weekdays at 5 p.m. and on cable14now.com.
From Bernie Arbor Stadium, it's Mountain Mitsubishi Hamilton Cardinals Friday Night Baseball here on Cable 14. It's Reed Duthie alongside my broadcast partner Matt Creeley tonight, and we welcome you in for the top seed Welland Jackfish, who come in at 27-10 on the season. The Hamilton Cardinals, Matt, 16-20, but the Cardinals have taken 2 on the season out of the 5 against the Jackfish.
Right you are, Reed. And last Sunday on the broadcast, Cardinals right fielder Dennis DeBanning told me that the Cardinals this season have been prone to playing both up and down to their competition. And while playing down to your competition is obviously not something you want to do, the Cardinals have been up to the task on these Welland Jackfish on multiple occasions. They had a big, high-scoring affair here in Hamilton at the beginning of the season. They won their first matchup here at Bernie Arbor. And they also won a tightly contested, high-octane game, 4-3 on Canada Day, off the backs of a solo home run by Luis Bernardo in the top of the 9th. So pretty impressive stuff from Hamilton so far against Welland this year. We'll see if they can continue going forward.
Matt, if you'd be so kind to run us through the batting order for the Welland Jackfish.
Yep, so we got Jonah Weisner, Gio Morello, and Jake Sanford due up here in the first. Robert Mullen has done some damage against these Cardinals. He's catching, batting cleanup. Mateo Porcelato, always dangerous, playing right field. Sam Barrett, Dawson Tweet, Tyler Dupuis, and Ethan Hunt round out the order. These Jackfish are going up with a lefty-heavy lineup tonight against Cardinals starter Mizuki Akatsuka.
And as you mentioned, on the hill for the Cardinals tonight, Mizuki Akatsuka, the chess master. He'll come at you from the right side. He'll come at you from the left side. You never quite know what you're going to see from the man who can throw from either side. It is a rare skill, Matt, the one that I've never seen in person until Mizuki Akatsuka came to the Hamilton Cardinals, and he's just as good on the right as he is on the left. And it's going to be tough for the Jackfish to navigate through as he went through warm-up throwing both right and left, so who knows what we're going to see.
Yeah, and Welland is familiar. You don't have to tell them. He has shut them down effectively twice this season, both at Welland Stadium. So this is a guy that the Jackfish hitters are familiar with and have yet to solve. We'll see how he fares third time through against these Jackfish.
And as the season is settled in and the playoffs are just around the corner, Akatsuka and Iguchi, the chess master and the last samurai, providing the 1-2 punch in the pitching rotation. And then Corbin Peters is stepped back in. So you go the man who can throw from either side, the man who can throw from any angle, and then the fireballer.
Yeah, it's a tough three-headed monster for any opponent, and the Cardinals have got to feel good about themselves and the positive momentum they're trying to gain here going into the postseason.
Akatsuka will toss to Luis Bernardo as Jonah Weisner steps in, one of the top prospects in Canada, as if Welland needed another high-end prospect in their lineup. And Akatsuka will start him off with a strike 0-1. Winding and delivering, and that one low and just a little bit outside. 1-1 the count. Weisner has been unbelievable since stepping into this Welland lineup, hitting .413 on the season. And Matt, he's certainly living up to that prospect status.
Yeah, like you said, hitting for a lot of average from that Welland lineup, and like you said, again, just a boatload of dangerous lefties in there. Weisner is one of many that they've got starting their lineup off with a bang tonight.
Akatsuka gets him swinging through, 2-2.
Mitsubishi, proud sponsor of Friday Night Baseball on cable.
I believe it's about a half a dozen in the lineup tonight for the Jackfish, hitting at 300 or better.
Yep. And Welland is also relentless. They have the second most walks and second fewest strikeouts of any lineup in the IBL.
And Weisner fouls that one off to avoid that. You know, last Friday night, we saw the Cardinals in pole position to take a victory. Zach Cameron in, had London down to their last strike, and then errors. They essentially threw the ball away. And threw the game away in the process multiple times. Trying to correct that this week. Different looking infield that we'll get to momentarily as Weisner's on the ground. Whalen's across the diamond and aisles, one away. We'll take a look at the defense in behind Mizuki Akatsuka starting in the outfield. Duncan has center field. He'll be joined to his left by Danny Berg and to the right by Dennis DeBanning. Into the infield comprising the group, Josh Niles is at first, Cole Iantomasi at second, Stephen Whalen at third, with Raquelbin de Castro at short, and Mizuki Akatsuka and Luis Bernardo comprising the battery for the Cardinals as Gio Morello steps into the box and hitting just .298. Matt, I think...
If that's one of the lower averages in your lineup, then you've got a good team.
You're not kidding. That's when you have to say just .298 in comparison to some of the guys around him. Jake Sanford on deck at .388 as Morello will fire this one into the silver seats down third base line. 0-2 the count.
It'll be interesting to see today, Reed, how often Mizuki will go to that left side with such a lefty-heavy lineup. He seemed keen to do it against only Mateo Porchelato last time that these two teams faced off. We'll see if any strategy changes comes here.
Good point. Last week against London, we saw him pitch predominantly from the right.
And he will mostly come at you from the right side. I think it's just the one he feels more comfortable with. But nevertheless, in a lineup like this where you could have so many platoon advantages, it can't hurt to turn around and go from the left side every once in a while.
Morello flares this one into a soft spot. Danny Berg will come on to pick it, but Morello will be on with the single to left field. And just like that, the Jackfish have a base runner with the dangerous Jake Sanford stepping to the plate. And this is not really the guy. Well, you go back-to-back here, Sanford and Mullen, and it's a little bit of pick your poison with runners on. As Akatsuka left a long look to Luis Bernardo. Sanford on the ground. This could be a big one for the Cardinals. Ian Tomasi will look, and instead of challenging the speedy Morello to second, he'll take the sure thing with Sanford over at first.
Good job by Ian Tomasi not to force the issue there. You never want to try and get too greedy on defense, especially early in the game and especially against a lineup like this. Wise to take the out. Because even though you want two on a ground ball like that, you can't complain about getting any sort of out against these Welland Jackfish.
Well, especially against Sanford, who, as mentioned, came into that at bat hitting .388. So if you can retire him, get yourself to 2 outs, you're in a good spot. Although Robert Mullen, as you mentioned, Matt, last time these two teams played in this ballpark, he was all over the baseball.
He had a big bases clearing double, if I remember correctly.
You do indeed.
In the middle innings, that kind of broke the game open. Welland won that one by, I believe, a final score of 11-0. Quite
Yep.
bit of a laugher.
Cardinals were in it and had some base runners, just couldn't get anybody across, and then the bases clearing double, as you mentioned, kind of put a halt to any thoughts of a comeback in that ball game.
Mullen, of course, is one of Welland's many Panamanian imports. They have a strong Panama connection. Their starter, of course, tonight, Teodoro Ortega, was signed out of Panama as an import right before the IBL's signing deadline a couple of weeks ago.
And, Katska didn't get the call there, just off the plate. And Ortega, a gentleman who needs appearances and needs innings. He is up to 7 on the season, so if he can get through 3, he'll hit the innings threshold, but 5 appearances will be the key as Mullen sends this one on to Ian Tomasi, and that will retire the side. We'll be right back on Mountain Mitsubishi Hamilton Cardinals Friday Night Baseball with the Cards holding the bats on Cable 14.
Okay.
Back to Mountain Mitsubishi Hamilton Cardinals Friday Night Baseball on Cable 14 as Teodoro Ortega gets set to see the Cardinals lineup. Let's take a look at it, Matt, and we'll begin with Raquelbin DeCastro. Run us through it from there.
So DeCastro will be leading off at short. Normally it's been Luis Bernardo batting behind him in the 2-hole, but with Danny Berg coming back into the lineup following that finger sprain, he will assume second hitter duties playing left field. Tyler Duncan will be batting third. Bernardo will move down to cleanup. Dennis DeBanning back in the lineup following his 1-game suspension will be playing right field. Ian Tomasi's been swinging a hot bat lately. He will bat sixth. And then Josh Niles, Stephen Whalen, and Evan Simons will form quite the formidable 7, 8, 9 stretch in this Hamilton lineup.
One of the big things, and I know you were a part of it, coming up to the trade deadline, the Cardinals reinforce themselves where even as players that are going to college will leave, they will still carry a deep starting lineup.
Yeah, and that's one of the things you have to fight through, right? As an IBL team navigating the trade deadline, hoping to kind of bolster yourself for the stretch run, because when you have guys going away to school, those are roster spots that are open for the playoffs. So you got to do your due diligence and make sure that you can, fill those up and have your team playoff ready in the best shape it can possibly be in. And the Cardinals have gotten some help here from a wide variety of sources and look to have a strong squad.
DeCastro gets under that, and it will pop high where Barrett will bring it in, 1 away. DeCastro has hit safely in each game he's played in thus far, as we'll take a look at the defense in behind Teodoro Ortega. Beginning in the outfield for the Jackfish, Gio Morello has center field. Mateo Porcelado will play in right. Jake Sanford in left. Barrett, Weisner, Dupuis, and Hunt in the infield. Ortega and Mullen form the battery for these Jackfish. As Danny Berg will step in, and you'll see the names flash by. And Matt, when they've had Danny Berg healthy and in the lineup hitting .333, he has been a big-time weapon for the Cardinals on the season, both offensively and defensively, manning left field.
Right, and especially when you think of his bat, he's such a patient, disciplined hitter, and I don't even think he has an extra base hit on the season yet, but these Cardinals love his patience at the plate, his ability to see a few pitches, foul some off, get deep in counts, and walk, because it's a valuable skill. And in the playoffs, especially when you're trying to hike opposing pitchers' pitch counts up, it becomes even more valuable. Set up the guys behind you.
We're going to get very Billy Bean here in a hurry with he gets on base.
Danny Berg he's a money ball archetype, that's for sure. Ooh, that got him.
And Mullen is going to walk off a little bit.
This is Teodoro Ortega's third IBL outing. Welland signed him, of course, again as an import from Panama. He is a former international signing of the Oakland A's, so he's pitched affiliated ball before.
As Berg reaches out and fouls that one into the mesh. That's always interesting when you see a lot of those players that come back into the IBL that have played affiliated ball in different locations and different organizations. Of course, the Cardinals doing that with Raquelbin de Castro. Just 21 years old out of the Dunedin Blue Jays. That was a bit of a coup. That was some pretty tidy work by the front office crew.
Yeah, we got to shout out Eric Spearin and Larry Wood doing their due diligence in the front office, and Luis Bernardo.
Oh, Danny Berg looked at that one low and inside. He's going to shake his head and not get himself in any trouble. That will bring up Rocky Mountain Thunder. Tyler Duncan will step in. 331 on the season, and anywhere at any time, he is a threat to take the ball on a long, long ride.
Our statistician Nate and myself were talking before the game how there has not been a Cardinals home run here at Bernie Arbor in a long time. 2 months ago to the day.
And it won't be on this occasion as that one got inside on Duncan, and it'll be taken by Barrett onto first base. And both Akatska and Ortega clean. We are through one inning of play. You're watching Mountain Mitsubishi Hamilton Cardinals Friday Night Baseball on Cable 14.
Just wanted to give a big
Friday Night Baseball here on Cable 14. The kiddos running the bases are just finishing up, and you'll love to see it.
Swiss Chalet is Canada's favorite place.
I would have brought my oldest who just turned 2 a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, nice.
This season, but he'd be out standing next to Danny Berg in left field probably. He's all over the place.
Get a glove on him.
Oh, he's going to be a lefty pitcher. This
Oh, yeah.
kid rifles a ball around the house, which I both have to encourage and make sure he does it in a safe area. Because he doesn't get in trouble, Daddy does.
It's good that he's taken to throwing a ball around as a lefty because he can't play everywhere on the diamond if he's a lefty, but if he's ready to be a lefty fireballer, hey, more power to him.
I couldn't get over it. The first time he picked up just like a little squishy baseball that I had and just started rifling it with his left hand.
Love at first sight.
Holy smokes. Well, he loves watching hockey in the fall and winter and throwing a baseball in the summer. So I like the dual sport thing.
As someone who sounds like he had a very similar childhood to the one that your kid's about to have, that's good living.
Yep, I couldn't agree more. As Mizuki Akatska back on for the top of 3. And while we've got a second, just want to send our very best to our broadcast partner, Neil Srivastava. He's on the DL for us, but he's already been texting me. So he's supposed to be taking it easy, which as long as he's got his feet up and he's watching the game, we're okay with this. Neil, lots of love, pal. We miss you. And you just take it easy at home. We'll take care of this the rest of the way. And, of course, our other intrepid broadcast partner, Troy Islikar's off on vacation somewhere. He did not run that by me beforehand.
Uh-oh.
He's supposed to tell me these things, you know. Last week he informed me, hey, I'm gone the next 2 weeks. I'm like, okay. So that means Matt, who's been doing the Sunday games, is in the booth where you were doing play-by-play. You're in the booth doing color, like it's musical chairs up here.
Yeah.
As Tyler Dupuis sends this one into left field. Danny Berg will pop up with it, and Dupuis on with the single.
Stepping up to the plate, third baseman.
Apparently we have a very deep bench for broadcasting with the Cardinals this season.
You got to just roll with the punches as they happen. Ethan Hunt about to step in here. He's got a homer against Mizuki earlier this season.
An opportunity for you, which when you stepped in may not have been expected.
No, I can't say that it was, but you know, you blink and all of a sudden I'm up here on a Friday night calling a game with the voice of the Bulldogs.
And you're doing a fantastic job, might I add.
You as well, Reed.
I appreciate that. Thank you. As a Katska, 0-1 the count. Just doing the training camp roster for the Bulldogs today. I'm amazed my eyes didn't go across staring at the screen. As Bernardo throw back. Did he get him? He did.
What a play.
Oh, Luis Bernardo. Eyes in the side of his head that time to see Dupuis was a little bit too far. Got the swinging strike and then the throw out. Matt, this is pretty stuff.
Outstanding defense by Bernardo here, and he, you know, he's not going to be able to catch forever. He's on the wrong side of 30, but to see him still be that nimble and have that much of a cannon behind the plate has got to make everybody on the Hamilton side of things feel good, and may have been lost in that. Beautiful pitch by Mizuki. He got a half swing by Hunt, but it was ruled that he went around, so now he's got a 2-strike count.
1-2 now after the ball. Katska delivers 2-2. Bernardo tried a quick frame on that, see if he could get it. Not quite. And you're right, Luis not going to be able to catch forever. But boy, are Andrew Johnston and Connor Hicks getting an education.
Oh, yeah.
Getting to learn from Luis Bernardo.
I envy those two. I don't know if I'd want to learn the ropes at catcher from anybody else.
And even if he decides to step out from behind the plate, as that ball in the dirt, but Hunt goes around, and a Katska with another strikeout.
Little Caesar strikeout for Hunter.
Even as he decides he's going to come out from behind the plate, Matt, he could step seamlessly into a DH role and continue right along.
And we saw him play first base last Sunday, too.
Pretty good over there.
He was good over there, too, right? And he caught all 10 innings on Friday, so they wanted to give him a little bit of a breather. Of course, playing first base isn't easy, but they had him go over there, and he played a nice first base, too. He's a picking machine over there.
Now, the only thing with that will be Tanner Rempel is saying, look, I already moved to first base to get out of this guy's way.
They swapped back around on Sunday. And Tanner, of course, can play a good catcher, too.
Yeah, that is real positional flexibility. And Connor Hicks, who's been a revelation. Andrew Johnston, who's got a hammer of a bat. There's a deep pipeline of guys who can get behind the plate. As Jonah Weisner back up and 1-1. Getting word from Troy Islikar. He's in Lake Louise.
Oh,
good for you.
Must be nice.
Katska delivers, and Weisner will swing and fire that one long out.
I should hope that he is watching virtually here on Cable 14 with the beautiful turquoise water and mountains in the background.
That's the photo I just got.
It would only be right. Oh, love to hear that.
He deserves a vacation. He's been working with me for over a decade, so he needs some time. Weisner sends this one into center field. Tyler Duncan, couple of steps. Katska's already halfway to the dugout. He knew 3 up and 3 down. Once again for Katska as he continues rolling, and we will have the bottom of 3 when we return to Mountain Mitsubishi Hamilton Cardinals Friday Night Baseball on Cable 14. baseball on Cable 14. We are rolling along as Mizuki Akatsuka has allowed just 2 runners to reach base. Gianfranco Morello earlier on, and then Tyler Dupuis, each with a single. And both retired on the way through. And on the other side, no base runners yet for the Cardinals. They'll have Niles, Welland, and Simons up to the plate in this inning. And, Matt, we kind of expected it coming in, but it is certainly becoming the pitcher's duel.
Yeah, I had a funny feel. I don't want to jinx him when he's only 3 innings of the way through, but I had a funny feeling that Mizuki Akatsuka facing the Welland Jackfish, that it was going to be like this. I keep stats for every Cardinals home game, and the time it took me to track that Canada Day game when he and Ben Abram dueled at Welland Stadium, I was done that one in no time flat.
Sounds about right. As Josh Niles steps in, one of the sweetest swings in the IBL for Josh Niles. And, of course, when you walk up to Chris Stapleton, I'm immediately a fan. 0-2 the count.
Good take. Niles, of course, is one of those Cardinals that will be going back to school in the fall that they'll have to replace for the stretch run.
Big reason why the likes of Simons and Welland were brought in. As we were talking about, if, unfortunately you lose the likes of Niles and Ian Tomasi, but stepping back in, you've got Welland, you've got Simons, you've got Rempel, you've got the pieces, and Brendan Daly, who has been a revelation on this season for the Cardinals, as Niles will be retired on the strikeout by Ortega, and Stephen Welland will step in.
Up to the plate, the third baseman, number 27, Stephen Welland.
Now, at one time, and you may see this on the website, it was slated for Evan Simons to wear 27 and Stephen Welland to wear 6. I'm not sure if the jerseys were printed in the wrong order.
No, that we just decided to swap them around. There was a lot of new jerseys happening at once. We did what we had to do.
Actually, I saw that happen last season. Our Bulldogs equipment manager, one of the best in the business, Chris Cook, he got stuck in a spot where the Bulldogs were short on bodies. We had Briar Long come up, Nico Krimpatic come up, and we were running low on jerseys and numbers. So at one point, they were both listed as the number 10. Then Long ended up with number 42 because it was there and Chris could move a nameplate onto a jersey. I still don't know how in that situation he managed to pull it all off. That is why he is the best. As Ortega delivers and gets Welland staring. Ortega rolling. Back-to-back Ks will bring up Evan Simons.
Number 6, Evan Simons.
Simons, who already has an interesting resume, Matt, in that Ottawa GG's Player of the Year, MVP, went to the Austrian League, where he won a Gold Glove, and now ends up with the Hamilton Cardinals.
He was a regular cleanup hitter in Austria, too. One of the things that I think drew the Cardinals brass, got their attention, Simons had numbers comparable to Quinn Cotton out in Europe when Quinn Cotton played there. Of course, Quinn Cotton, one of the big-time contributors on this Cardinals team last year. He is still back in Europe this year, playing in Germany, I believe.
But he was a fun player to watch.
Yeah, but it was an interesting thought exercise saying, well, we knew how Quinn Cotton did in this league, and if Evan Simons is putting up numbers like that in Europe, why not give it a whirl?
As Ortega delivers, that one runs outside. You got to wonder a little bit, again, the imports for this year, 5 next year. If a guy like Quinn Cotton may look at a return to the IBL.
I'm sure nobody on the Cardinals side of things would complain about that.
2-2 the count as Ortega gets it on the outside edge. I know there's been a lot of talk about the number of imports. I like the number going up because I think it makes it a more competitive league.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what we all want to see.
And just think of the impact that the imports have had here in Hamilton. between Mizuki and Iguchi on the hill. DeCastro making an immediate effect at shortstop.
Has hit safely in every game in which he's played.
Right. And when you can have that much of an effect felt from just 4 players, imagine adding another to that group.
And, of course, Luis, who's become a cult icon in this city. As Ortega delivers, gets Simon swinging through it. Ortega strikes out the side. Akanska's been rolling. We'll head to the 4th when we return on Cable 14.
Check back in with our good friend Emily.
No amount of studying can guarantee a gambling win. Find tips for safer play at gamblingisrandom.ca.
We were born in Canada. We spoke English. On the streets, we weren't welcome. But on the field, we were the assassin. Vancouver's champions. Everyone cheered for us. Our people had a voice. Then Canada declared war on Japan. They took us from our homes, called us enemies, forced us into camps. But we brought the game with us. Baseball helped get us through the internment.
The Vancouver Asahi were among the 22,000 Japanese Canadians interned during the Second World War. The team never played another game.
Welcome back to Mount Mitsubishi, Hamilton Cardinals Friday Night Baseball on Cable 14. You've missed nothing. Top of the 4th, and that is the first pitch from Mizuki Akanska to Gio Morello. That was great timing by our production team. Travis Blackwell leading the crew downstairs. He's a wizard. I don't know how he does these things.
Right on.
I have worked with, well, I don't know if Travis wants me to say the number of years we've worked together because I'm not sure he wants to admit it, and it might make us both feel old, but Travis, who has been one of the aces of the staff when I've done the OHL Tonight for the last number of years on Cable 14. As Mizuki delivers, and that one runs inside. So it came off of Luis, and it'll run to a 2-1 count. Wasn't sure if that might have caught Morello on the way through, but doesn't appear to have. As Akanska will have the long look into Bernardo. 2-1 to Morello. And gets him on the outside edge, 2-2. There have been 2 base runners in this ball game. Morello was one of them.
And it was a cheap little bloop single. And those do count all the same, but can't really fault Mizuki for that one.
And he gets Morello staring at it.
That is another Little Caesar strikeout for...
Wow. Akanska, Ortega, back and forth they go.
I love the communication between Akanska and Bernardo right there. On 2-1, Bernardo was setting up exaggerated way outside, and Mizuki dots Morello right there to get to 2-2. Morello didn't swing, so Bernardo says, why not just go back there with 2 strikes? And he hits his spot again without fail, right on cue.
Made this point last week to Troy when he was up here with me, that you look at a guy like Luis Bernardo, what he can do for a pitching staff with his pitch framing. Everybody remembers the run that the Braves had with Maddox and Smoltz and Glavine at the top of that rotation. But Javier Lopez was a chess player behind the plate. Sanford on the ground. That'll be over to Niles, 2 away. His framing of pitches for those guys made them even more dangerous and even harder to hit against.
Absolutely. And it's in the sabermetric age, it's become a lot more appreciated, but catchers who can frame are truly the backbone of a lot of good pitching staffs.
Now take that catcher who can frame and have him hitting about 270 on the year.
It's a good combo.
And you've got money in behind the plate. As Robert Mullen, speaking of which, will step in and he'll look at a first pitch strike from Akatska.
Robert Mullen has had a great season altogether, but he is especially doing damage to these Cardinals, slugging .800 against Hamilton on the year. That's slugging,
Ouch.
by the way.
That one straight up the elevator shaft. Bernardo steps on, and Akatska. We are rolling along. 1, 2, 3, go the Jackfish. And we will hit the bottom of the 4th inning when we return to Mountain Mitsubishi. Hamilton Cardinals Friday Night Baseball on Cable 14. It's Mountain Mitsubishi, Hamilton Cardinals, Friday Night Baseball on Cable 14. Bottom of the 4th inning. If you're just tuning in, settle in. Mizuki Akatska, Teodoro Ortega, bit of a tongue twister. They are going back and forth in a pitcher's duel. Ortega struck out the side in his last go-round, and he will have DeCastro, Berg, and Duncan at this time to deal with.
Where do you fall as a baseball fan, as a spectator? Do you prefer these pitchers duels or the barnstorming offense games?
Oh, I'm a pitcher duels guy.
Yeah.
I went to a Jays game I'm a Red Sox fan. Went to a Jays game a few years back and was wearing my John Lester jersey proudly when he put on a 9-inning clinic. And I was by far the most excited person in the ballpark.
Oh yeah, I remember. Lester could go with the best of them in his prime.
Yeah, one of my all-time favorite Red Sox, right there in behind the likes of Pedro and Derek Lowe, who was always, I think, one of the most underappreciated.
Good shout.
The only pitcher to ever win the clinching game of every playoff series, all
Really?
the way to the World Series.
Huh.
2004, he was unstoppable. He had a no-hitter that year, too.
Yep.
I was on a staff with Kurt Schilling and Pedro Martinez in front of him.
Yeah, good luck.
Tim Wakefield and Bronson Arroyo behind him. Yeah, that 04 team was special. Good times. 3-1 the count as Ortega misses outside. Been spoiled as a fan of the Bruins and the Red Sox in my lifetime.
I was gonna say it's been like what? It's been like 3 years since a Boston. No, not even. I forgot about the Celtics. It's been.
DeCastro gets a hold of this into left center field, and it's going to be Gio Morello to settle under it just in front of the warning track. Well, he got his money's worth on it, but
Stepping up to the plate, left fielder number 3, Danny.
not enough to catch grass or catch the wall, and Danny Berg will step in. The only man who can get away with walking to the plate to smooth jazz. It fits.
I was watching the Blue Jays play the San Francisco Giants a few weeks back in San Francisco, and Giants outfielder Michael Conforto shares this walk-up song with Danny Berg.
I did not know that.
Well, I didn't either, so you can imagine me watching the game unassumingly, and then I was like, wait, Danny Berg's coming up to bat. What?
Danny Berg? What? When did this happen? As Ortega delivers, and Berg flares this into left field. Underneath it is Sanford, 2 away.
The Cardinals have been getting some decent contact this inning, which is about all you can ask for when you're trying to climb out of a rut that the opposing starter has you in, because Ortega has been getting them to expand the zone. He is his fastball's working, his off-speed stuff is working. He's going up, down, in and out. He's got these Cardinals hitters on a string right now, and they're going to have to stay dialed to try and best him here.
Tyler Duncan grounded out to the first baseman Barrett his first time up. And he'll get a first pitch strike. I'll throw that same question back on you. Pitchers duels, or are you into the big offensive outputs?
I can appreciate both.
Certainly.
I feel like it's a different kind of appreciation depending on what happens, but no question about it. 2 arms, masters at their craft, especially 2 guys that are accomplished as Mizuki and Ortega are. There's nothing quite like it.
Especially when they work at such a high pace. And you feel like any run that scores could be the run. As Wisner, nice job on the turn to pull that in at second. He'll twist it on to Barrett. And again, 3 away for the Cardinals. We're through 4 innings already as Ortega and Akatsuka back and forth they go. And you are watching Mountain Mitsubishi Hamilton Cardinals Friday Night Baseball. Mountain Mitsubishi Hamilton Cardinals Friday Night Baseball here on Cable 14. Mizuki Akatsuka back to the hill, as we always like to thank our great friends at Mountain Mitsubishi for bringing you the action every Friday night. 2515 Upper James. Go in and check them out and drive your ambition with Mountain Mitsubishi. Have you had a chance to see the building that they've done on Upper James, Matt? It is tremendous.
Really?
You want to talk about like new age construction for a car dealership? They've got it. The lighting, the whole thing.
Interesting.
Lights up like Christmas at night if you drive by it, too.
Number 10, Mateo, Portugal.
Last time I was up at the Warplane Museum with my dad, drove by it, and, man, after all the construction that they put into that building, it was worth it.
That's really all you want, right? If there's construction at a spot going on for a long time, you want the finished product to be nice and to be something to look at.
Well, they got that. I don't know who the architect was, but kudos. As Mateo Porcelato steps in, and he'll look at a first pitch strike from Akatsuka.
Mizuki's dialed right now. That's a great pitch. The backdoor breaking ball is not an easy one to pull off, but he's been working with pinpoint command so far.
He's had it almost starting to the opposite center of the batter's box and just diving back in.
Yeah.
That one got in a little bit low, couldn't tempt the eye of Porcelato that time. Porcelato struck out his first time up. That was in the top of the second inning. As Akatsuka delivers, Porcelato on the ground. It gets past Niles, but won't get past Ian Tomasi. However, the ball wouldn't sit to the glove of Akatsuka, who says that one is on him. As Porcelato's going to reach on the E1, so says Nate behind us.
That was almost the rare 4-1 putout, but Akatsuka couldn't squeeze it.
I think he might have just taken his eye off of it for a quick second. Didn't quite follow it into his glove.
It's not an easy play trying to cover the bag as a pitcher from a throw that far off first base. Probably Trying to multitask, figure out where his feet were, and just couldn't get set in time.
So that gives the Jackfish a base runner, just their third of the ball game. Cardinals yet to have a base runner. That's how good these two pitchers have been. As Akatska will wind and deliver. That one comes in low on Barrett. 1-1 the count. Akatska does not waste a lot of time on the hill.
No, and we've been mentioning it all night, the success he's had against Welland and how the game tends to move faster when he pitches against these Jackfish. But tonight, so far, he's outdone himself.
I remember Daisuke Matsuzaka, and as talented as he was, whoa, boy, there were some nights it was painful to watch him pitch. That long stretch and the hip swing, and whoa, boy.
Somebody would not have done well in the current pitch clock age of Major League Baseball.
No, I think there were some nights where Veritek was pointing at his wrist. Like, can you just deliver the ball? Taking off his Porcelato, up tossing his Bernardo. He put that on the money. Luis Bernardo is having a night behind the dish.
You think Bernardo doesn't know that every base runner matters in a tight contest like this? Great throw.
DeCastro didn't have to move. The way the ball came into his glove, it just led him right down to the runner.
Fantastic defense once again by Bernardo.
And when you get to this part of the season, this is where the big-time players will make the big-time plays, and that's where Bernardo falls into the category of 3-2 the count to Barrett. Nobody on now with one away. How quickly that changed. Bernardo sets up inside. Doesn't get the call, wanted it. And Barrett will have the walk down to first.
From our monitor up here, that certainly appeared to be squarely in the strike zone, but Akatska, of course, going to have a short memory. He will tap his chest to say, my bad, even though it probably wasn't his bad, and move forward. Got to have a short memory in situations like this.
I don't think I'm going out on a limb by saying it wasn't his bad, but Dawson Tweet will step in. You just want a little bit of consistency in that strike zone. As Akatska will deliver, and okay, I don't want to dwell on it. That one looked lower than the one that was a ball.
Yeah, I knew where you were going with that.
0-1 the count to Tweet.
Makeup call, perhaps.
Breaking ball. Gets Tweet on soft contact, carrying foul. Welland gave it everything he had up the line. Just got away from him.
Good hustle.
That was going to be a tough play to make. It was carrying, and Stephen Welland was moving. 0-2 to Tweet.
Dawson Tweet is usually a fixture in the second half of the Jackfish order near the bottom, but he's been a consistent contact threat, hitting .339 on the season.
Akatska doesn't get that call, and that breaking ball was a strike earlier in this inning. 1-2 the count.
When you paint the corners as much as he does, you do run the risk of not getting some calls, and you just got to stick to your approach.
Bernardo sets up outside, and I don't think Mizuki liked where he put that one at all. Right when it came out of his hand, he was already tapping himself. Must have felt it slip. 2-2. Akatska with the long look to Bernardo. He'll deliver. Tweet again, saws at it, and that one's out by the TV truck. I think Matt just watched that bounce next to the truck.
There he is.
He didn't think I could see him. Is it right down there? It's breaking the fourth wall. I'm talking to somebody off camera. I'm talking to somebody who's an area code away from me. As Dawson Tweet swings through that one, another strikeout for Mizuki Akatska.
Gotta love the composure from Akatska there. He had Tweet 0-2.
The shortstop, number 6, Tyler.
Probably should have had a third strike call. That didn't happen. And then Tweet was battling, fouling some pitches off, but Akatska was unfazed, made his pitch, got him to go fishing on a breaking ball down and away for strike 3.
Who singled his first time up in the third, is open with a strike. He got caught leaning too far off first. That great throwback from Luis Bernardo.
Guarantee you that's in the back of his mind right now. Should he reach again, I don't think there will be any more careless leads from Tyler Dupuis.
As Dupuis fouls this back, 0-2 the count. And Akatska working quickly and working ahead of the Jackfish hitters. That has been such a key. 5 strikeouts for him with that last one to Tweet. Ian Ortega just ringing them up so far tonight. Ortega with 5 of his own. Akatska couldn't get that one to cross the strike zone. And 5 strikeouts against this Jackfish order, Matt. That's pretty impressive considering their plate discipline.
It's not easy to do, but it's been a point of strength for Mizuki against him this year. There's another.
Oh, it's a touchdown on the board for Mizuki Akatska. 6 strikeouts on the ball game. We are through the top of the 5th. Still no score on the board. Just 4 runners in the game have reached base. Cardinals will try to turn it in their favor when we return to Mountain Mitsubishi. Hamilton Cardinals Friday Night Baseball on Cable 14. Hamilton Cardinals Friday Night Baseball on Cable 14. Luis Bernardo about to lead things off in the bottom of the 5th for the Cardinals. Saw some great shots in between innings all around the park from our camera crew. Alistair is the loneliest man in the park tonight. He's on center field camera. But, Matt, here's the key. I took a lap before the game. Where that white corner of the Mountain Mitsubishi sign is, you see Alistair right there?
Yep.
So he's on the truck bed. You can't quite see it. There's a stack up of Jack Link's beef jerky out there tonight. It's right behind. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was checking out there to make sure he had the snack pyramid all set.
He's got it. He's got it taken care of.
He's a pro. He's a pro. Look at the shots he's given us.
Attaboy, Alistair.
He knows what he's doing out there. As Ortega will deliver to Bernardo. This is shocking. He opens with a strike.
So far, Ortega's thrown 49 pitches. He has 5 strikeouts, a couple pop-outs.
And Bernardo falls behind 0-2 as he fouled that one back.
You could tell the Cardinals' offense was really fighting it to start this game, but last inning they had a few solid contacts, a few balls in the air. By my count, they've only had 1 hard-hit ball all night, and it was the ground out by Tyler Duncan to end last inning.
As Ortega delivers, Bernardo thought about it but didn't go around. DeCastro got some juice into one out to center field, but not enough to carry on. On the ground, Bernardo trying to beat it out over to first. Dupuis, scoop, deliver to Barrett. Got it in the glove. Oh, Barrett. A little bit of a hop, skip, and a jump as he was bent a little bit awkwardly that time. As Dennis DeBanning will step in. That play is the Tanner Rempel special. Hit the splits.
I was going to say that. That looks familiar. You've seen that play a lot happen the other way with Tanner over there at first.
Oh, that's a great job there by Barrett to secure that ball. The Dennis DeBanning fan club has spoken. And Dennis going to hit this one to short. Dupuis up again. That one a little bit easier for Barrett, 2 away. Didn't give him as awkward of a stretch that time. As that'll bring up Cole Ian Tomasi.
I'm sure Dupuis was happy about the chance to redeem himself there.
Stepping up to the plate, the second baseman, number 8, Cole Ian Tomasi.
Cardinals still looking for their first base runner of the ball game. And Ian Tomasi hammers this into left field, back towards the wall. Sanford's under it. Oh! Ian Tomasi thought he was going to have extra bases, and Sanford was just able to turn, get on the horse, and erase the opportunity. Matt, what a ball game we're having right now. As we send it to break here on Mountain Mitsubishi, Hamilton Cardinals Friday Night Baseball on Cable 14.
Wentworth District 3v3 basketball is here in the Hammer. Here's what I want you to do. Monday nights at 6:30, I want you to sit down in your comfortable chair, watch a little basketball with us. I miss you. I'm on vacation, but I want to see you Monday nights. Come on, join us for a little basketball hoop action.
We invite you to play What's My Line?
Welcome, Mrs. Baker. Those folks over there need to guess your extraordinary occupation.
Are you an entertainer, Mrs. Baker? Yes.
Do people come to watch you perform?
Yes. Do you travel for work? Yes, I do. Do you ever wear a special type of costume? Yes.
Is your job physical?
Yes, indeed.
Are you a member of a team?
Yes. Are you a professional baseball player? Yes, I am.
Created during the Second World War, the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League included 68 Canadians. One of its brightest stars was my mother, Saskatchewan's Mary Bonnie Baker, a pioneer for women in sports.
I walk for my partner who is on dialysis.
I walk in memory of my dad.
I walk for all those waiting for a kidney transplant.
I walk because I live with kidney disease. When you participate in the kidney walk or support someone who does, you're taking steps and providing hope to thousands of Canadians living with kidney disease. Behind every step, there's someone we walk for.
Who will you be walking for?
Who will you be walking for?
Who will you be walking for? Register or donate at kidneywalk.ca.
Welcome back to Mount Mitsubishi Hamilton Cardinals Friday Night Baseball here on Cable 14. Do not adjust your television sets. We are in the top of the sixth inning as Mizuki Akatsuka and Teodoro Ortega are just going back and forth dealing. 4 base runners in the game. Welland has all of them. Nobody's gone past second base, and only Gio Morello has reached second and was stranded there. And he reached second on a fielder's choice.
Yeah, it's been a duel for the ages here.
And Akatsuka opening up with back-to-back strikes on Ethan Hunt. 0-2 the count. Akatsuka into the sixth inning, hasn't even reached 70 pitches. And does not get Hunt going around. I believe that was Jeff Rose down at first base giving the washout signal on that one. And as usual, Jeff Rose is right.
Right call. Not the first time Hunt's been tempted by a down and away breaking ball, but he held back that time.
Akatsuka gets him swinging through the fastball.
Just another example of Bernardo and Akatsuka being on the same page. It's so important for your battery. On a day like today, Bernardo wasn't even crouching down. He was standing up practically. He was ready for the high heat. They knew what they wanted to do, and Hunt couldn't resist.
Remember when Akatsuka hit the touchdown with a strikeout to end the fifth inning on Dupuis?
Got the extra point.
He just converted it. 7 Ks in the ball game for Mizuki Akatsuka as Jonah Weisner steps in. And that'll be ball 1 to Weisner. Weisner's grounded out 5-3 and flown out to Tyler Duncan. As Akatsuka winds and delivers, and Weisner sends this one high into the air. 3 Cardinals charging. Danny Berg not able to come up with the ball, and Weisner on the bloop will have the double. Danny Berg had to come a long way in for that ball. It was bending towards an awkward part of the park. Welland was coming off third. DeCastro off short. And you'll see right here, Matt, is the slide from Berg. Just not quite.
I couldn't help but tense up a little bit as I saw Danny go for that sliding catch because, of course, it was a sliding catch that caused him to jam his finger and miss a couple weeks. So I was hoping more than anything else that Berg would come out of that unscathed, but he just couldn't hang on the basket catch.
Morello started off with a strike. That car alarm is a sound effect, as Weisner will lead off second base.
Katska wasting no time.
I think he might have plans tonight.
He must. This is a great display of both effective pitching and speed running.
Well, it is Olympic season after all, you know. Speaking of speed running, men's 4x100 relay today. Gold. Take that, Mr. Lyles. 2-1 count.
Mizuki doing his best to combine sprinting and pitching here.
How about that 4x100 team? None of them qualified for a final.
I was going to say it was pretty quick 180 on that today.
And yet they came together as a team and got it done. Morello back up the middle. That'll leak through the infield. Weisner's going to turn third. And it's a 1-0 Jackfish lead. Morello with the RBI single.
Gio Morello's going to get his second hit of the day here. And it'll drive in the only run of the ball game to this point. The first time that Akatska has given up back-to-back base runners. And again, a game like this, if you're Welland, you just got to scratch and claw across because you never know if it'll be the only one.
You know, Danny Berg really wants that bloop catch back to hang on to it as Sanford fouls that one off of himself. Key for the Cardinals here, Matt, just get out of it without any further damage. You've got Morello at first, Sanford up. He's gone 4-3 twice in the ballgame.
Yep, and you can't get around it. Ortega is perfect through 5. There's no other way to say it. But the Cardinals have been getting some good wood on it the past 2 innings. Hopefully for them, a sign of things to come as they slowly try to figure him out.
Dancing off first is Morello, throwback, and he was able to make his way back to first base.
We've been talking about Bernardo's great defense behind the plate tonight. Mizuki Akatska has a great pickoff move himself. He picked a runner off last Friday against London. Almost had Morello there.
Akatska delivers. Sanford sends this one into left field. Berg tracks underneath. Morello's going to try to take second, and he will. Tagging up at first base. Nice move by Gio Morello. Saw that Berg was pushed to as far to left field as you can get in fair territory. Saw an opportunity. Berg's throw got it to Ian Tomasi, but couldn't quite get the tag. By the way, a note from Neil with the 7 Ks for Mizuki Akatska. That's 285 strikeouts by Cardinals pitchers. $855 donated from Little Caesars to Mission Services. What a great program that's been.
Great stuff, and we appreciate Neil, of course, keeping us updated on that throughout the year. If the Cardinals pitchers can start racking up the strikeouts, $1,000 might be a possibility.
I'd love to see that. Akatska winds and delivers on the 0-1 to Mullen. Mullen able to hold back.
Throughout the night, Akatska once again playing the Jackfish lineup to his advantage, using their temptation to chase the high fastball. Almost got Mullen there.
Mullen on the ground. It's going to sneak through the infield. And Morello will run his way home. Robert Mullen continues to be a problem for the Cardinals as he'll pick up the RBI single. Morello like he was launched out of a cannon.
Stepping up to the plate tonight's beer mountain, the right fielder, number 10, Mateo Porcelato.
As Porcelato will step in. Couple nice little pieces of hitting. First from Morello to score Wisner, then Mullen to score Morello.
Again,
2-0 Jackfish lead.
Yeah, neither have been pretty. But in a pitcher's duel like this, they don't need to be. And Akatska, it's not all his fault, obviously. Neither of those base hits were scalded. Neither of them were hit off the sweet spot of the bat, but that's baseball.
Oh, bloop that drops into left field. And a run that, as Porcelato tried to take that ball all the way back to Welland.
Yeah, speaking of, neither of those were scalded. Porcelato tried to do that there.
And Mullins got it on the ground, got it with good pace, but just squeezed it in between Welland and DeCastro. Akatska winds and delivers, and got him looking at it. Porcelato goes down for the 8th strikeout of the ball game for Akatska, but damage done. 2 runs across the board for the Welland Jackfish. We'll pick it up in the bottom of 6 with Josh Niles leading things off for the Cardinals when we return to Mountain Mitsubishi. Hamilton Cardinals Friday night. Mountain Mitsubishi, Hamilton Cardinals Friday Night Baseball on Cable 14. Bottom of the 6th. Teodoro Ortega, spotless through his first 5 innings. We'll have Josh Niles to lead off the 6th. Quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard. The Brantford Red Sox holding a 2-1 lead over the Toronto Maple Leafs as Brantford trying to work their way to squeeze into a playoff spot. And just like that, now 2-2 as the Maple Leafs have tied that game up. London and Barrie, Matt, just underway, bottom of 2nd. So big thanks to Neil. He let me know that there was a crash on the 407, which pushed the start time of that ball game back to 8:15. But how about a pitcher's duel there? Garces versus Cush.
Great matchup.
So they might catch up.
Yeah, they just might.
Stepping up to the plate, the first.
Got a couple good recipes for pitchers duels up in the IBL today.
Yeah, how about that going tonight? Cush, Garces, Ortega, Akatska. I mean, take your pick. Star-level pitchers all the way across. Just checking to see if it was Sucre for Brantford. It is not.
Great night for the IBL any way you slice it, unless you're a hitter.
Yeah, that's right. Come to the ballpark and see any of those 4 names on the sheet and just go, oh, really? As Ortega delivers and the breaking ball in for a ball.
Cardinals lineup is in quite the spot right now. They're battling in a close game, pitchers duel, down but not by a lot. Against an ace on the hill that's dealing. They got to get into scratch and claw mode, and if that sounds familiar, that's exactly the spot they were in against Gregor Farquharson and the Brantford Red Sox last Sunday. They figured it out eventually with a 5-run 8th inning. We'll see what they can do against Ortega here, who is 15 up, 15 down so far.
Niles looked like he might have tweaked something that time on the swing. This one he'll put on the ground. Dupuis charges. Barrett at first. In time. Whoa, not by much. And make it 16 for 16 for Ortega. As Stephen Whalen will step in.
Niles running as fast as he can there, and again getting a rally started and finally solving Ortega. Could be something as simple as legging out an infield single.
Tyler Dupuis over at short, though, not going to make that task easy. Great range.
He's had a couple good ones tonight, and of course, great work on the other end too by Barrett, the first baseman.
Yeah, Barrett's hit the stretch a few times as Welland launches that one out into the parking lot. 0-2 the count. Simon's on deck. Cardinals just have to find a way to get some runners on base. Akatska has been holding the Wolves at the door, just the two across. Welland putting this back up the middle, but right to the glove of Ortega, as if he scripted it. 2 away. And that will bring Simons up.
Stepping up to the plate, the designated hitter, number 6.
And Ortega just watched that right into his glove.
Pitchers are athletes too. Nice play. It was Evan Simons that started the rally for the Cardinals on Sunday when it looked like their offense was toast with a leadoff walk.
Simons on the ground, charging hard, picked at third. Barrett over at first on the receiving end from Hunt. Oh, my. 18 for 18 for Teodoro Ortega. 2-0 for the Welland Jackfish as we finish 6 innings. We'll head to the top of 7 when we return to Mountain Mitsubishi. Hamilton Cardinals Friday Night Baseball on Cable 14. Hamilton Cardinals Friday Night Baseball here on Cable 14. Mizuki Akatska, who has been twirling a gem. And speaking of gems, our friends at Little Caesars, 969 Upper Ottawa Street. They have been the source of our crew meals on Friday Night Baseball this season. Big thank you to our friends at Little Caesars. 8 locations in the Hamilton area. You're never too far from pizza. And our friends at 969 Upper Ottawa Street couldn't put the games on without them. They feed the machine.
Little Caesars has kept the Cardinals interns and the staff and pretty much everybody who works around here at Bernie Arbor well fed throughout the summer.
That's a lot of pizza.
Oh, yeah.
And good pizza, too. Little Caesars. I'm a big fan. With the stuffed crazy bread. Oh, forget about it.
Absolute game changer.
Just roll me back to the car. As Grayson Barrett will step in to face Mizuki Akatska. And that one towering back up towards the grandstand. No chance for Luis Bernardo to make a play on that one. And somebody found it down there.
We have a winner of that scavenger hunt for the ball under the bleachers.
0-1 the count. A few weeks ago, we saw that scary incident of the ball coming through the screen.
Yeah.
I'd never seen that before.
I asked just about everybody else around here if they had, and that was just a one-off that nobody had seen before.
The flukiest of flukes. 1-1 to Barrett. Akatska delivers, and he'll tap that one back foul. 1-2 the count.
Our statistician Nate telling us that Mizuki Akatska, that was his 20th first pitch strike, the one he just threw to Grayson Barrett. So, wow. He's been getting ahead, and that's what you got to do. Keep yourself in control as a pitcher.
8 Ks in the ball game for Akatska. against this powerhouse Welland lineup into the 7th, holding them to just the 2 runs. Trying to retire Barrett here on a 2-2 count. And he does. Make it 9 strikeouts in the ball game for Mizuki Akatsuka.
Another Little Caesar strikeout for Hopper.
And that strikeout spear with the pizzas going across is getting awful full.
Yeah, they're going to run out of pillows real soon if Akatsuka keeps throwing like this.
Do you know how many of those they have?
I was actually part of the group that was trying to gauge how much we would need.
Oh,
There was a game early in the season where the Cardinals struck out, I think it was 14 or 15 Brantford Red Sox, and we decided that's probably a good number.
Akatsuka might test you tonight. Ball on the ground to second. Ian Tomasi has it in and out of the glove. And that'll allow Tweet to reach. It'll be an E4, but it'll put a base runner on with 1 away.
Stepping up to the plate, the shortstop, number 6, Tyler Dupuis.
Second error of the night for the Cardinals. You just don't want to give the Jackfish extra outs.
Exactly. And as airtight as the defense has been for Hamilton for most of the game, those are free runners that you can't afford when the other pitcher is perfect through 6.
Joey Ransom, the director of everything around here, just came into the booth and said, "Let there be light."
Appreciate it, Joey.
That's one of his, 17 different jobs?
I've lost count, really.
He is Mr. Everything. Akatsuka turned. Smartly, Tweet was not too far from the bag.
Yeah, I think they're on to it now. Akatsuka again. Always a threat to pick somebody off.
We'll have to look into Dupuis on the 0-1. Dupuis wanted to put down the bunt, and that's going to run it to 0-2. Smart idea from Dupuis there. Jackfish have had success once they've gotten a runner to second base, bringing him around. Gio Morello, as we get a word from our truck that bunt,
right in the mask.
Hello.
Bernardo's been pretty dialed all game, but that'll probably give him an extra boost there. That'll wake anybody up.
Waiting for somebody to answer the phone that's only audible to him as Dupuis hammers this into center field. Duncan's underneath, 2 away. Tweet is going to challenge for second. Ian Tomasi's there. Forget about it. The cannon from Tyler Duncan in center field will end the top of the inning. And the Cardinals, maybe with some momentum to draw to the bottom of 7 when we return on Cable 14. Mitsubishi Hamilton Cardinals Friday Night Baseball on Cable 14 after Tyler Duncan with the rocket out of center field ends the inning. Man, we got something special going on tonight. 9 strikeouts right now on one side for Mizuki Akatsuka. He's on the verge of checking into double digits, while on the other side, 18 up, 18 down for Teodoro Ortega. This has been one heck of a ball game.
It's really been a sight to behold from the start. These two arms going at it, and really a shame for Akatsuka. A 9 strikeout effort, just 1 walk. The only extra base hit he allowed was on a pop-up. In almost any other scenario, that would be enough to be in line for the win, but he has been bested by the literally flawless so far, Teodoro Ortega.
And Ortega will face Raquelbin de Castro to open up the bottom of the 7th. And that's a first pitch ball that hopped over the glove of the catcher Mullen.
I was reading up on Ortega before the game started today. Welland plans to use him in their rotation for the stretch run as they aim to defend their Domenico Cup title.
You don't say.
But they had to clarify that, right? Because he wasn't fully stretched out.
Right.
Coming in from Panama. So he pitched an inning as an opener in his IBL debut against Kitchener.
Makes sense. Get his feet wet.
And then he went 5 innings in his second outing against London, and he's literally chasing the world here in this outing against Hamilton.
Just rolling into the 7th. De Castro swings that back into the mesh. 2-2. A little bit of work on both sides in the bullpens, but they can't bring Ortega out in this ball game unless somebody reaches base. DeCastro held off that one, full count.
And that's where that comes in, right? Welland is, I'm sure they want to see their new pitcher climb to the top here in this one, but they do have to keep the pitch count in mind and make sure he's healthy for the playoff run.
Ortega delivers, and DeCastro sends this one foul. He'll stay alive on the full count. And this is former Oakland A versus former Toronto Blue Jay farmhand. How about that for Friday Night Baseball? Delivery from Ortega. DeCastro up the middle. Dupuis ranges over, and DeCastro is going to get on base. That is going to be an error charged to the shortstop, Dupuis.
Danny Berg.
As Danny Berg will step in.
Doesn't look like that pitch was in the strike zone, but DeCastro has the bat-to-ball skills and the wheels to get away with a grounder on the infield. And he put it right up the middle in a good spot. The no-hitter's still intact for Ortega here, but he has a base runner to his name now.
And DeCastro a little bit off first. Caught him. Oh, Mullen, just like we saw Bernardo do earlier in the ball game, able to pop up and get DeCastro leaning off first base. Berg was able to pull off on the bunt. 1-0 the count.
Well, so much for that. Great throw by Mullen. Great tag by Barrett. Saw it all the way.
Stand corrected, 0-2 the count. Berg didn't pull off on that bunt. That one will run inside, make it 1-2. Again, every time the Cardinals have looked for a little crack in the window, it's been shut right back on them. As Ortega will wind and deliver. Berg swings that back into the mesh. It'll stay 1-2. Cardinals trying to extend Ortega past his comfort zone here, but that's going to be tough. Berg will swing this into shallow left, and he'll be on with the single.
And who else but Danny Berg to get the Cardinals' first hit of the night? This is a great piece of hitting. Again, that's quintessential Danny Berg. He made Ortega throw a bunch of pitches. He didn't let him get comfortable even with 2 strikes, and he didn't try to do too much with the pitch down. Spraying it the opposite way for a nice line drive base hit.
Boy, a little bit tough now on that throw out of DeCastro with his wheels, likely looking at first and third with nobody away. Tyler Duncan will try to erase that from memory. As Ortega will wind and deliver, and Duncan hammers this into right center field. Not going to fall in time. The wheels from Porcelano able to get over, as that one might have got caught up in the breeze a little bit, Matt, and took away what could have been extra bases.
And for the second straight plate appearance for Duncan, he gets some decent wood on that. Didn't quite catch the barrel, but hit it with some decent exit velo behind it into right field. But it hangs up just long enough. And that constant Bernie Arbor wind likely playing a bit of a factor as well. Ooh.
Ortega lost that one. Bernardo steps out of the way. He'll just recalculate.
I know the Cardinals will take any base runner they can get, but I don't know if they'll take it at the cost of Luis Bernardo.
Yeah, no, that was at a scary height there. As Ortega delivers, that one down in the zone. As Ortega passed the 75 pitch mark. And now you wonder if that count is starting to become a factor. He talked about stretching him out. As Ortega delivers, that one's going to run outside, 3-0. 2 away, though, in the inning. Cardinals would love to get Bernardo on base to bring up DeBanning. And I believe Davey Mendez is up walking around or just stationed over there at the bullpen. As Ortega's going to lose Bernardo. That'll send Berg up to second. And it's 2 on for the first time in the ball game for the Cardinals as a visit over to Teodoro Ortega on the hill. And I think they're going to give him the chance to get out of this inning.
So they're talking to him, seeing how he's feeling.
Yep. Didn't see anybody running out of the bullpen. Although, got to think if he gets through it here, this is likely going to be his last inning of work.
He's certainly earned this right to advocate for himself and try and stay in this game and get through his 7th shutout inning.
They got to give him a chance to do it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the way he's pitched tonight, if he says, I'm feeling it, you got to at least leave him in there for one more. As Ortega will deliver to DeBanning. That one will run outside, although the control starting to wane a little bit.
Yeah, and that's probably one of the things that the Welland dugout was picking up on now. 5 straight balls by Ortega. DeBanning's got to be patient here.
DeBanning was flown out to right field. Grounded out to the shortstop, Dupuis. 2-0, though, the count.
Nice block, too, by Robert Mullen on that first pitch of the AB to prevent a wild pitch and have both runners in scoring position. Blocking those pitches in the dirt, especially at this time of the game in this circumstance, becomes of critical importance.
Ortega delivers. And that one over the plate, 2-1. If DeBanning were able to reach, Colian Tomasi is the man in behind him. Two and one. Ortega delivers. Outside, 3-1. And so far in this at bat, it looks like DeBanning is trying to make Ortega throw him a strike.
And DeBanning's a smart hitter. He's very aware of the situation. He's got to wait for when he can drive because, simply put, the Cardinals haven't been getting a lot to drive so far. Got to keep passing the baton.
DeBanning sends this one up to first, but Barrett on the ground will end the threat. And DeBanning a little bit upset with himself there as Ortega will get through 7 shutout innings. And if that is the end of his night, he is in line for the victory. We will return for the top of 8 after this on Cable 14.
You've got no idea what you've just walked into.
I say we show them the same mercy they've shown us.
We're fighting a war against an enemy owned by the British government.
Why is the law allowed to treat people like this?
May you never die until I kill you.
Big old monster walks in the room, we all jump.
Don't go in there! I don't want to ruin this.
Lo hanno incepito come 4 morti fama, ma non abbiamo paura niente di nessuno.
Where am I supposed to go?
Books on film are everywhere.
It is intended to shock and offend.
After a day out with your friends and it comes time to hit the road, you can be proud of yourself for always driving sober. No matter where you are or who you're spending time with, if you plan on driving, don't plan on drinking. We rely on our roads to bring us together. That's why it's so important to do our part to keep our communities safe. Help stop impaired driving before it happens. Every day, everywhere, because all roads lead to home. A message from Arrive Alive, Drive Sober.
Welcome back to Mountain Mitsubishi, Hamilton Cardinals, Friday Night Baseball on Cable 14. It's Ethan Hunt at the plate. It's an 0-1 count as we return to the action. That one, I mentioned Travis earlier on the timing. That one was my fault. I didn't get out fast enough for him. I was watching Dennis DeBanning run out that ball at first base and forgot we had the 2-minute break there for a second. Put that one on me. I'll tap the chest on that one. Put that one on me. 1-1 the count as Akatska back out for his 8th inning of work. And you said it earlier, Matt, in any other circumstance, Mizuki Akatska is likely in line for a victory. He's only allowed 2 against, 9 strikeouts in this ball game, but trails 2-0.
Yeah, don't let the difference in the score fool you. He's been dominant. I'm curious to see how long of a leash the Cardinals will have on him today. They have an arm active in the bullpen right now, a right-hander it looks like. This will be pitch 94 right here.
That's Doc Holliday they've got out there warming up. Said Holliday, I went to the Tombstone there. Doc Hospital warming up. You ever watch the movie Tombstone?
I did not.
Oh, Val Kilmer, Kurt Russell, fantastic.
Good actors.
That'll run the count full. Stephen Hospital and Zach Cameron arrived from Niagara University, and they put numbers up there that are just simply outrageous.
Yeah, and Cameron has carried that intense presence here to be the Cardinals' de facto closer.
Yeah, kind of inherited it on the fly from Stefan Strecker.
Yeah. He's done a fine job in the role so far. Both those pitchers figure to be in play here for the Cards tonight.
3-2 the count to Hunt. 97 pitches for Akatska. And Hunt up the middle. Ian Tomasi, little trouble with the handle. Safe at first base. It'll be an error to Ian Tomasi.
Now at the plate, the second base.
And it's just been a couple too many errors tonight. The second for Ian Tomasi.
Yeah, and Cole's aware. He understands the magnitude of the situation, and he'll look to put those behind him. He's a talented ball player.
Absolutely.
But it is tough again to see it in this spot.
And Akatska will open up Weisner with a strike. Weisner, who went on a ground out to Welland at third, fly out to Duncan in center, and then a double in the 6th, came around to score. That double was the ball that hung up in the air into left field as that ball hops on its way into Bernardo, and that's going to allow Ethan Hunt to scamper his way onto second. So now nobody out, and Hunt on second base. And that'll take the double play out. Ethan Hunt got the second, thought about continuing on that deep backstop here at Bernie Arbor, but Bernardo came up with the ball quick. Katska delivers. Weisner on the bunt, and that one's going to be foul. 1-2 the count.
Weisner has stormed onto the scene for the Jackfish this year, as Reed mentioned, but going into today, he was 0 for 5 against these Cardinals, so hopefully for Katska, he can continue to have his number.
Got to think Hospital just about ready in the bullpen as well, if needed. The Katska, I think, will have the right to try to get himself out of this inning.
As Ortega did.
Winding and delivering. Welland over at third. Great stop. He'll look. Hunt back to first and deliver to take Weisner. Really nice job there by Stephen Welland.
Great fundamental defense by Welland at the hot corner. You always got to keep your eye on the lead runner. And then he fires a strike to first to top it off.
Center fielder number 11, Gio Morello.
Gio Morello will step in. He has an RBI single in the ball game and came around to score. Yeah, you could see Welland on that replay. Hunt was thinking about testing, and trying to at least buy enough time for Weisner to get up that first baseline, and Welland just wasn't having it. Katska delivers. Ball one.
Stephen Hospital, as I mentioned last week on the broadcast on Sunday, needs a couple more innings here to qualify for the playoff roster, so the Cardinals looking to get him his reps in while they can.
And Morello, 1-2 as he did go around. That's a great shout on that one, Matt, as we keep an eye on innings, appearances, plate appearances to get guys eligible for the playoffs at this point. The Cardinals were able to announce today they clinched their spot. They know they're going.
Yep.
It's a matter of who they're going to play. And Morello is going to be... Oh, I take that back. That's the 1-2 there. Got one step ahead of myself as I was juggling a couple of thoughts. And as usual, they came crashing down on me.
Those broadcaster things there, Reed. It happens. It happens.
Yeah, well, 16 years, it sure does. As Katska delivers, and that one will get fouled back by Morello.
You could see Morello frustrated with himself here, yelling at himself. He wanted that pitch. It was down and slightly in, but that's a commonly the wheelhouse for left-handed hitters, and he wanted that one.
So very likely at this point, the Cardinals are going to open up their first-round series on the road to either London or Guelph.
Those appear to be the two likeliest, yeah. And Guelph's had their number all year.
We will wait and see how it plays out down the stretch. It is Hamilton and Chatham-Kent kind of flip-flopping back and forth. Chatham-Kent had a rough run over the last week. Cardinals were able to bounce back ahead of them. And, of course, got to wait and see how it plays out between Guelph and London as well. As Morello, well, there's light tower power, and I don't think that's exactly what they had in mind with that saying, but he just about took out a light bulb.
And the ball hits the light tower and bounces and lands harmlessly on the roof of Larry's office behind the Cardinals dugout. How about that?
Larry's going to think it's hailing. As Katska delivers, that one will be on the ground. It's a full count, 3-2 to Gio Morello. Don't really have a sense of who is closest to coming out of that Welland bullpen just yet.
Davey Mendez still standing, intently watching, though.
He has not warmed up as of yet, but it doesn't take him long. As Katska winds and delivers, Morello reaches out. Welland charging on. Came off the bottom of his glove. Ball stays fair, and it's runners on first and second with one away.
That is a beautiful piece of hitting by Morello right there. It was an ugly chopper right into the ground, but fantastic process by Morello at the plate. He went down 1-2, chasing a pitch outside, and then went to work. Foul ball, and then he's rewarded for his efforts and his discipline with an infield single. Just absolutely gaming up there in the box.
And as I usually do in those situations, I turn to Nate, who is incredible with the statistics behind us. And he says infield single on that one. Would have been a real hard play for Welland to make on that charge.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that take on it.
How about this stat from the de facto third member of our broadcast team, Srivastava? Guelph and London play each other 3 times in the next week.
Wow. And Hamilton and London play each other twice in the next week.
Yes, including Tuesday night right back here with you.
Yep. They've had a couple spirited games, those two.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. Last Friday night, I thought everything was going to come crashing down.
Talk about games that feel like a playoff game.
Whoa.
This one does. That one felt like a playoff game.
Just some bad luck for the Cardinals in that one.
Figure they're motivated against London next time around. Of course, in between tonight and that game between the Majors and Cardinals here on Tuesday, Hamilton will be making a stop in London on Sunday. So those two are probably going to be sick of each other in a few weeks.
They are going to be very well acquainted. As the Cats get ahead of Sanford 0-2. That one down and does not get the call. 1-2 the count. I think Katska wanted it as it came over the plate and dove down. The 1-2 to Jake Sanford. And Sanford skies this one into foul territory. Welland underneath, 2 away.
That's exactly what you want if you're Mizuki Akatsuka. 2 on, 1 out. And do a harmless little pop-up into foul territory and get yourself an out closer to getting out of this jam. Although, no easy task against Robert Mullen.
Was just about to say, here comes the trouble. Robert Mullen, who has been nails against the Cardinals. If Akatsuka can best him, Cardinals open up the bottom of the inning with Ian Tomasi holding the stick. Strike 1 delivered to Mullen.
If I've noticed any patterns about the strike zone tonight is that the home plate ump seems to be hesitant to give pitchers the inside pitch, but he seems a little more lenient on the balls away.
And that's where Bernardo sets. Mullen skies this one, fell way back over the grandstand. 0-2 the count. This would be a fitting way for Akatsuka to end his night if he could strike out Mullen and hit the double digits from this 0-2. Quickly approaching 120 pitches. Doesn't get the call on the outside.
That's one of those ones where, as a pitcher, you tell yourself, good miss. It was a great pitch, outside corner. Could have gone either way.
Took a second for our home plate umpire to think about it. Didn't give it to Akatsuka, 1-2. He'll wind and deliver again to the outside corner. Still won't be given that strike.
He's been working with pinpoint accuracy down and away. And, again, both those could go either way.
I don't know where he wants that pitch.
He's right there.
2-2 to Mullen. And Mullen reaches out. Welland on the run to first. Got it. Cardinals will go to the bottom of 8. Needing a pair. Mizuki Akatsuka with a gem. Can they deliver a comeback for him? We'll find out on Cable 14. Welcome back to Mountain Mitsubishi Hamilton Cardinals Friday Night Baseball here on Cable 14. Trying to sort out some of the moving parts. Mike Mueller is in to pitch for the Welland Jackfish, and that is the beginning of the usual 8-9 combination for Welland. They'll try to get Mueller on to Mendez, and there's some different Cardinals holding sticks. Right now, the three taking swings with the helmets on are Gravel, Hicks, and Daly. These are the spots for Ian Tomasi, Niles, and Welland coming up.
Yeah, it looks like manager Chris Piano is looking to shake things up here. New pitcher, shake up the lineup a little bit, get something going.
So Cam Gravel is going to come in for Coley and Tomasi, likely a straight switch.
And we've got a new pitcher, too.
Yeah, Mike Mueller beginning that end-of-game sequence for the Jackfish. And he'll open Gravel with a strike.
Mueller has pitched against these Cardinals once this year. That was the last time these two teams faced off on July 18th in Welland. He threw a scoreless inning.
Looks like Connor Hicks is going to bat next in Josh Niles' spot.
Of course, we're very thankful Hicks has made it to the park here today. We received word that he was rear-ended on his way to the stadium.
Oh, come on.
And he wasn't able to get here in time to make the lineup, but we're, of course, thrilled that Connor's okay and able to take his cuts here.
Wow. Absolutely. That's great that he's here and great that he's able to get into this ball game. As Gravel, little excuse me swing, but coming on for it is Jake Sanford, and it's one away. And now Connor Hicks will step in.
Cardinals, number 24, Connor Hicks.
And you talk about young players with a bright future. Connor Hicks. Of course, another guy coming up to Chris Stapleton, so hey.
Love to see that. Hicks had a monster day last Sunday. He had 3 hits, a couple RBIs. Was rightfully named Cardinals Player of the Game in their 6-2 win against Brantford.
He's the kind of guy that you got to hope the Cardinals can keep returning up here summer after summer.
He swings a hot bat. He can really get into one.
Mueller able to get ahead of him 1-2.
This is Stephen Whalen's spot in the order, and I don't think Connor's played third base this year, so we'll see how the defense shakes out top 9 for Hamilton.
This is Niles' spot here.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
Niles' spot, so Hicks will strike out. He'll likely go over to first. Now Stephen Whalen will step in. And in Simon's spot, it looks like Brendan Daly.
Right, okay. That's how they're going to do things. Brendan Daly's been a different hitter ever since he got that new pair of sports contacts a couple weeks ago. That big Friday night he had against Barrie, he attributed to that.
As Whalen swings through the first offering 0-1. Daly, one of those young players, again, been a revelation for the Cardinals. Can play multiple positions in the field. And he just keeps getting better and better. And, of course, when you can see the ball a bit better, that helps too.
He had the big insurance hit in that win against Brantford, changing the score from 4-2 to 6-2 with a little bloop single to left.
Oh, Mueller challenged Whalen and was just able to swing it by him. 1-2.
Mueller's coming out throwing gas with authority. That's the 3rd time the Cardinals have chased on him this inning already.
Davey Mendez is starting to get loose in the Jackfish bullpen. And no, Mueller thought he was going to have that one. Didn't get it. 2-2 the count to Whalen.
Hospital still throwing, of course, down in the Cardinal bullpen on the other side.
Mueller on the outside, 3-2. Full count to Whalen. Yeah, you got to imagine Hospital's the guy coming in for the top of the ninth. It's been the only Cardinals pitcher that's been up throwing. As Mueller deals and gets Welland swinging through it. Second time tonight, Welland has struck out. Back-to-back Ks for Mueller. We hit the end of the 8th inning, and we'll get you set for the top of the 9th with Doc Hospital on the hill when we return after a word from our friends at Rawlings.
My first professional glove, that's the one I remember the most. When I was coming up, even though it wasn't that long ago, having your name on a glove was a big deal.
It's Friday Night Baseball here on Cable 14. The unhittable, the untouchable, the Davey Mendez is on the hill for the Welland Jackfish, and the Cardinals are going to need to touch him up. They'll need to do it for a pair. Brendan Daly's going to lead off this inning, pinch hitting in the spot that was Evan Simons. And again, Neil letting us know that heading into tonight's game, Welland's magic number was 4 over Barrie for their third consecutive first place finish. In 2022, they finished 31-11, tied London and Guelph for first, awarded third on head-to-head records between the three teams. Last year, 31-11 again. First could equal London's modern 32-win season if they ran the table.
Wow. That's an impressive 3-year run, and Davey Mendez will look to get him one step closer.
That's an impressive text from Neil.
Yeah.
How does he remember all this?
Shout out once again to Neil, the IBL Encyclopedia.
I don't even need to look for the out-of-town scores. He included them for me. Barrie and London still scoreless in the 5th. No kidding. And Brantford up 3-2 in the bottom of the 4th over the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah, you can only hear 2 of us, but there's 3 people on this broadcast crew, folks.
There certainly is, as Daly on the ground, but quick on from Hunt to Moretto, 1 away.
Mendez has pitched twice against these Cardinals this year. He's thrown a scoreless inning in both. The first one was a little sketchy for him. He gave up 2 hits, 4 batted balls, and 1 hard hit ball by my count. The second one, though, was a much cleaner 2 strikeout, scoreless 9th to lock down the save.
Raquelbin de Castro. Can he get something started? And Mendez just bringing heat.
Nothing new there.
Nope. So obviously with that Barrie London game scoreless, it has been Cush and Garces just
looks like we spoke that one into existence.
Just having fun. That would make for a heck of a first-round playoff series. If you get the 3-headed monster that the Cardinals have versus that London staff.
I think you're looking at a couple 1-0 games somewhere sprinkled in there.
Cush versus Iguchi?
Any way you slice it, and then you have Travis Keys.
Keys versus Akatska? Sign me up.
That would be premium TV.
Yeah, if that series comes to pass, just lock in right here on Cable 14 and enjoy. As Mendez delivers to Castro. Swings through 2-2. Boy, Davey Mendez just has such an arm. De Castro back up the middle. Dupuis ranging, fires. Moretto with the stretch. They make the play. 2 away. The range on Tyler Dupuis.
Stepping up to the plate, the left fielder.
DeCastro came into that plate appearance with the right approach. He wanted to take a few pitches and found himself ahead in the count, but on 2-1, he simply could not handle the gas from Davey Mendez, and then gets some wood on it on 2-2, but hitting it to shortstop has proved to be the wrong place for the Cardinals tonight. Tyler Dupuis playing excellent defense up the middle.
And we've seen Dupuis doing it, going to his left, going to his right.
Oh, yeah.
Any way you want it. Danny Berg up. He'll send that one probably to the next municipality, but foul.
Berg, the last hope for the Cardinals tonight. We'll see if he can do what he always does and see a few pitches, scratch and claw to get on base.
Can he find a way on base to set up the epic confrontation of Mendez and Duncan?
Ooh.
That one might have come in a little bit high, a little bit inside, 1-1. Berg so good at finding a way, as Matt said.
Walks more than anyone else on the team by a country mile.
Can he find a way here? And again, we'll take that for a ride, foul. We have been treated to a heck of a ball game tonight. Ortega and Akatska were simply brilliant in their starts.
And if you wish that there was a pitch clock in the IBL, then this game would have been for you. We're at under 2 hours and 20 minutes so far, run time.
Mendez delivers. That one will run inside, 2-2. What was that you said about Danny Berg seeing pitches?
If there was ever a time for him to put that on full display, it's right now.
He's forcing Mendez into changing it up a little bit on him here. Got to think Mendez is going to come with the big stuff. And Berg again gets around, but foul.
Can't ask for much more to Danny right here. Somebody who throws as hard as Mendez does. High octane heat, slightly outer half. Just get contact on it and get set for the next one.
Try to force Mendez into a mistake. It doesn't happen often. The premier closer right now in the IBL. Doesn't get the call he was looking for there. He wanted Berg to come up high with him. Great eye from Berg.
These are the at-bats that make this game so wonderful. Berg has worked himself full from 1-2, and we'll see a seventh pitch here of this at-bat.
Berg just battling his way through this at-bat. Mendez delivers, runs it inside, and Berg takes the walk.
How about this matchup, Reed?
Well, these are the moments. Tyler Duncan has an opportunity, but to cash in on it, he's got to battle the premier closer in the IBL. The defending MVP against the man who can slam the door.
Doesn't get much better than this. This is why you watch. Power hitter versus power pitcher. Let's take it all in.
Duncan can tie this game with a flick of his wrist, but that involves getting around on a Mendez pitch. And he sends that one foul back behind the grandstand. Just got a little bit underneath it. 0-1. If he put the sweet spot on that.
Just got a little under it.
Mendez with a look back to Berg. He'll deliver. And Duncan again, he is looking for everything in one swing. Fouls it back 0-2.
He smoked that one straight back to the screen, which means he didn't miss it by much. And those pitches up and in, especially high velocity, are so tough to get to for a left-handed hitter. Tyler just barely missed that one.
He was looking for that right field fence.
Oh, yeah.
Cardinals down to their last strike. Davy Mendez will wind. Off speed, didn't get the call. And I think Robert Mullen had to look back to ask where that missed.
In fairness, that high breaking ball has not been called a strike for either team so far. We've seen it throughout this contest sporadically.
That is a great point.
Duncan Wise to lay off.
Yeah, no love has been given up there on the breaking ball. So we'll do it all over again, 1-2. Mendez with the look. He'll deliver. Gets Duncan swinging. That is one heck of a ball game. The Jackfish, 3 pitchers combined for a 2-0 shutout. Matt, the Cardinals, they can't hang their heads. This was a brilliant matchup between Ortega and Akatska to start it off. Pitchers duel all the way. And if you lose to the number 1 team in the league by a 2-0 score, not a lot to be upset about tonight.
And Hamilton did have some positive momentum coming into this game, and this is a big stretch for them coming up to end the season. But if nothing else, they can take pride in the fact that they stuck with the Jackfish the whole way. And if they were to, down the road, meet them in a playoff series, it would be some really intense, airtight, contested baseball. And at this stage of the season, if you can keep yourself in the fight in that fashion, that's all you can really ask for.
A quick ball game, a tidy ball game. Ortega and Akatska, one of the best pitching duels of the season. And, Matt, the Cardinals on the run now towards Tuesday against London. Next Friday, right back here against the Kitchener Panthers. There's opportunities down the stretch here for them to stay ahead of the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers and get, well, they would get whoever ends up in that 4-5 instead of the 3-6, which you might think would be at least a momentum pickup for the Cardinals.
Yeah, and again, I think it's 5 games left this regular season, 5 or 6, something like that. As we said, the London Majors, a possible playoff opponent for Hamilton. They'll be seeing them a lot before the end of the regular season too. It's, again, not something to hang their heads about tonight. It's an effort that they can take some positive things away from. And even though it is Welland, it's just like everybody else. A loss is a loss. It doesn't count for more or less because it's against the top team in the table. Keep the memories short, get on the road tomorrow and Sunday, and battle back.
The lineup has serious depth. The starting rotation is pretty well set. And the bullpen, I like what the Cardinals have been able to do to solidify it.
Absolutely.
They've done a really nice job. We didn't see the likes of Boato or Carenti come out tonight, but Matt, there's a lot of options down there, a lot of things the Cardinals can lean on headed to playoff time.
And it's easy to kind of get lost in the possibilities for a playoff series because this staff is deeper than it's been in a long time. And you got to figure that if a series gets to that 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th game, what have you, the Cardinals will have the horses to at least make it a tight one. And we'll see how they can hang here as the season only gets tougher from here on out.
You got to be excited about Tuesday night with the London Majors.
I am excited. That's going to be a great call. It was a intense game last time. Some jawing in the dugouts, some fighting. It's going to be high energy in this field.
I know I'm looking forward to being back here next Friday for the Kitchener Panthers, and that could be a big game down this stretch to find out if the Cardinals can stay ahead, secure that 5 spot. It won't give them home field, but it would give them momentum headed into that first round.
Yeah, and you never want to lose the last game of the season, especially at home. These Cardinals it's been a little bit of a mixed bag against Kitchener this year, but they'll be looking for any source of positive momentum they can get here going into September.
Welland Jackfish looking to make a little bit of history down the stretch themselves. You know, you got Ortega starting, you got Mendez in the bullpen. Tremendous combination. It's going to be real tough to knock them off. Barry's going to play them tough down the stretch. Cardinals could give them something to think about if they were to get to a second-round series.
Yeah, and you want to talk about 3-headed monsters atop a rotation. The Jackfish have Ben Abram. I think Teodoro Ortega has made his name here today. I don't think anybody's forgetting who he is after this performance today. And, of course, Enrique Saldana, whose turn it was thought to be in the rotation today. So that in itself is quite the trio of pitchers atop the rotation. There's a lot of good teams, a lot of good rotations. Good stuff for the IBL as a whole going into these playoffs.
And an incredibly deep lineup. And Robert Mullen actually coming over to the interview location with Teodoro Ortega. Robert Mullen, who has just been a Cardinals killer, another RBI against them tonight. When he's directing the traffic from behind the plate, you are in really good hands.
Absolutely. Wonder what his secrets are. He just dials it up against Hamilton or whatever it is. He's been a premier bat, glove, arm. He's been doing it all for Welland this season.
And I believe putting the headset on is going to be Robert Mullen.
Yeah, that's him.
And he is, I think, going to act as translator here for Teodoro Ortega. And actually, this gives us a bit of a great opportunity. First of all, Robert, Teodoro, thank you so much for taking the time for us. Robert, I want to start with you while we have a chance with you. You've been tremendous against the Cardinals this season. No other way to put it. Hammering the baseball. What's been your secret to success against the Hamilton Cardinals?
Well, I just try to get the pitches in the zone, like looking outward for the fastball and try to hit it with a bird, right?
Absolutely, and you've got your starting pitcher right next to you. You guys form a great battery together. What was Teodoro thinking as he went into the seventh inning tonight, still with that perfection intact?
¿Qué tú pensaste? Que hicimos una buena batería los dos, que en el séptimo inning todavía no te habían dado hit.
Buen approach. Hicimos buen ajuste con todos los bateadores tomando rechazo.
He said he used to get like to the seven, like he's good approach and touching the sun like inside and outside with the fastball.
And Robert, how excited are you and Teodoro together to be playing on this tremendous Welland Jackfish team?
Que cómo nos sentimos los dos de jugar en este tremendo equipo que es los Welland Jackfish.
La verdad me siento muy contento porque somos como una familia y siempre estamos como felices de estar aquí, una buena oportunidad.
Well, like I'm gonna say the same. Like we are happy to be here. Like we are like a family, and everybody's always like together. Like we just are one. So.
Robert, you and Teodoro are both tremendous to watch. Thank you so much for your time. We'll let you guys go and celebrate with your teammates. Congratulations on the win tonight. Good luck the rest of the season in your chase for another championship.
Thank you.
Really a pleasure to have Robert Mullen and Teodoro Ortega. We thank them for their time down at field level. Matt, those guys, they're going to be big pieces for the Jackfish into the playoffs.
Yeah, and that's good. I'm happy you asked them about how they feel sort of playing together on the Jackfish. The Panamanian roots run deep on that team, the two of them, of course, at the forefront. It's got to help when, on top of all this winning that they're doing, the clubhouse feels like a family.
Absolutely. My thanks to my broadcast partner, Matt. First time we've had you here on Friday Night Baseball. You did an incredible job, my friend. Way to go.
You as well, Reed. My pleasure. Excited to be back here with you next Friday for that Kitchener game and end off this home slate of the regular season with a bang.
We will do it again. And in between, tune in to Matt right back here on Tuesday night when the Cardinals host the London Majors. A lot left in this season. Tough finish for the Cardinals tonight, but a great ball game. You've been watching Mountain Mitsubishi Hamilton Cardinals Friday Night Baseball on Cable 14.